So I wasn't planning on doing another video, child. I was just like done for the day. But like, I was on Instagram again and I got inspired. So I felt like I should do this video. And this video actually probably will be short and sweet. Um and basically I saw this video on Instagram and this lady was talking about a old friend of me, a girl who she thought she was cool with, but she kept on having these weird experiences with this person. And she noticed on social media a time later after they'd had a little, argument, they got into it a little bit. She thought they were cool, went shopping and stuff like that. But subliminal messages about her and everything else. I didn't see how the video ended because I felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me to like put a video out there because I have something that kind of relates to that. There are two people because in the shelter, like, we stay in bunks and stuff, and I'm on the top bunk and somebody is on the bottom bunk. Two, like, the bunks are kind of like in rows of like two bunks are together. It's two beds per bunk, and it's kind of like, so it's like four people. But we have the next row where it's like four people and so on and so forth. And so two people, one in the bunk below me and the other person in the bunk right next to me, below the lower bunk, right next to my bunk. I know this is confusing. So this is my bunk. This is the other bunk. There's a person below me on the bunk, and there's a person below the person next to me on the top bunk, right on the bottom bunk. Okay, A, B, C, D. So person B and D do not like me. They do not like me. And it's okay because it's like at the end of the doggone day, I don't really like them either. So it's mutual. But they don't like me, and not in a like I'm not gonna pay attention to her, because that's what I do when I don't like somebody. Like them or just like don't trust them, I don't really pay attention to them. I'm not going out of my way to be rude, but I'm not going out of my way to like engage in conversation and everything else. I'm pretty to myself in the shelter that I'm in, because I don't trust people like that. I've tried it with the whole friendship thing in the shelter, and I kind of feel like the Lord is like, no, don't do it. It wouldn't be a good idea. Because I had two bad experiences. Might talk about that later, but not right now. That's not what this is about. But they do not like me. And there is no reason why they don't like me. And I say this because I really do leave people alone. I'm not one of those people, I just leave people alone and I don't mess with nobody, but I'm secretly messy. No, I really and truly leave people alone because I don't want to be bothered, because the amount of drama and mess and arguing and cussing out and almost near fights, I ain't got time for that. I ain't no fighter like that. I ain't trying to get into no physical altercation with somebody, especially over stupid stuff. He said, she said, you touched my bunk. Oh, you got into the bathroom before I did and I really had to pee. Like, stupid stuff. Like, it's not a shelter. I swear it's an adult daycare center. No, adult all day centers, because it's like, dang. It's like, these are not like grown people. They can't be like, these are children who argue over stupid stuff when they should let it go. Anyway, this isn't about mental health or anything else like that. But these two people do not like me. Um, they are always saying, and it's honestly, it's increased now. They're always saying stuff about me, slick little remarks and everything else, which I ignore because it's like, I'm not going to argue back and forth with two people who honestly I feel are bitter and just like hate the circumstances that they're in. Which honestly, 100% of the arguments emanate from that people are bitter and hate. And let me make sure that that word is the right word. Sometimes I be saying words and I just like don't. Yep, that's right. I originate from. That was good. Any emanates from that they're miserable and they're unhappy, and instead of just like trying to do something about it or trying to figure it out or leaning on the Lord more, they part of the way that they get their little negative energy out is by like saying stuff about me. So for example, I will go to the shower and I'll put, like shower, get my body right and like put on my pajamas and everything else. And of course I'm not wearing a bra and I'm just like I'm going from being wet to like going out to like a cold dorm room, and so like, the headlights are on and everything. And several times, not once, but several times, like I've been like going up on my bunk and they'll stare at me when I'm like going up, when I'm coming to the bed and I'm going up to my bunk, and then like make comments about seeing, you know, the headlights on. And I'm thinking to myself, the first time it happened is like, okay, I felt a little self conscious about it and I was like, okay. But then it was a second time. Then it was a third time and a fourth time. And I'm like, if I see somebody coming and I like, if I see somebody in a situation, like for example their butt is showing, butt crack is showing, or like their, I may see their areolas or something like that, which happens in a women's dorm and like in a shelter type of environment, it just happens. I'm looking away. If I see somebody's naked body, like when I'm going into the shower, I'm looking away. I'm avoiding because I don't really want to see your body like that. I'm not making comments about it. I might be annoyed, but I'm not going to do all of that, like making like. But why are you staring at me? Why are you looking at me? You don't like what I said. I'm not into all of that. That was one of the comments, something similar to that. One of the ladies said, the one right under me. I'm gonna call her C, and D is just like, oh, I don't. And I'm just like, at this point, you keep on doing it. You keep on saying it. You keep on making comments about it. Then it's like I'm really didn't. Why aren't you looking away? You want something to complain about. You want something to hate about somebody else. You want to do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say. Like you just, you want to hate on somebody else because you don't like the way that your life is going. You want to like be mean and be nasty to somebody else because your life is, you're unhappy with you. I don't know that people have said it before. It's common. You don't like yourself. That's why project it on me. But it's like, it's true. Some of these situations, like your behavior dictates how somebody treats you because you're not behaving kindly, right? In some of these situations, people are just like unhappy with themselves and they're projecting it on you. And it happened, something similar happened earlier today when I was like, I had just gotten dressed, plain black shirt, black shorts and stuff like that, black pants and everything else. And I will notice the woman on bunk D staring at me from time to time. Like, not time to time, just like multiple times. Like, I've seen her, and it's just like with this look of like disdain. And it's like, I've done nothing to you. I've said nothing to you. I ignore you. I don't pay attention. What is your problem? And I think it's beyond that. I think it's like what we should, as Christians, should do when somebody does not like us. And I've just gotten back into the habit of it, because the woman in bunk C is, she she was at the other shelter that I was with earlier, like the first shelter that I went to that I could not stand, and she was there and everything else, and she was completely and totally different. At this shelter, she's miserable and she's nasty and she's mean spirited. But the other one, she was playing games and she was playing Sister Christian. We had to go to church a lot at this other shelter, and they had a lot of programs and stuff like that. And she was always involved. She was in the front row at that program, and she, like always going to the different like prayer, services, and always, talking to the pastor and all this other stuff. She was just like one, you would think she was like holy, holy, holy saved. And she came, when she first came to this shelter that we're both in right now, she was a monster. She was so nasty and mean spirited. She was cussing people out. She was wishing death on people. She was like, getting involved in situations that had nothing to do with her. And I remember, because I remember her from earlier in the other shelter, at first I was like praying for her. And I was like praying hard because I'm like, she's going to end up like, she's a bigger woman. She has health issues. She walks on a cane. Girl, you can't have the mouth that you have in this place where people have hair triggered tempers and not be knocked flat on your behind. You cannot fight, sis. You cannot. You will get torn up if you don't shut up. And so I would pray for her, and I was like, God bless C. You know, like, she's very angry, she's very upset, and everything else. Over time, once she started to be disdainful and like resentful and hateful of me, that's when I like stopped praying for her. And I think, like, not I think, but I know that the Lord really doesn't want us to stop praying for people just because the circumstances changes in a way that we don't like. um I don't think it was conscious, but subconsciously I thought, oh, okay, so you don't like me, you can't stand me, you're trying to project your foolish foolishness on me. Okay, cool. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm not going to pray for you anymore. And I think that I know that the Lord doesn't want that. He wants me to pray for them, both of them, C and D, because they are his children as well. And he knows that they're in pain as well, but he also knows that their behavior is unacceptable. Our prayer, like, our prayer really does avail much, and it can change the atmosphere. And maybe it won't be the atmosphere in this place because I'm not going to be there forever. I'm not going to be there probably as long as they'll be there because they're older and they have health ailments. But it could change it so that the next person doesn't have to deal with that. The next person doesn't have to deal with their attitude. The next person doesn't have to deal with them being mean-spirited or nasty or whatever they are. The next person can, like, maybe even glean some, because they're older women, like, glean some knowledge from them or some wisdom from them. But it's just like, pray for your enemies. Really and truly pray for them. Not because they deserve it, but like, do we deserve it either? When we're mean and we're nasty to people, and I have been in the past, I'm going to be in the future, not because it's right and it's okay, but because I'm a sinful human and it is what it is. And our job is to like work against that sinful nature and pray for ourselves that we'll behave in a way that God is pleased with, right? But we slip and we fall, we get back up and we do better, right? And we make our apologies and we behave in a way that pleases God. We work towards that, the fruit of the Spirit, right? So that's all I wanted to say. Like, we really, really, really have to pray for people, especially when they're nasty and when they're mean, because a lot of people are fighting demons, and the only way that they know how to fight back is by tearing other people down. So every time they say something insulting, every time they make a comment about not liking to see this or not liking to see that, every time I hear a slight or something else like that, what do? I go to prayer, like, God, please bless them. Bless C and D. Bless them to, like, with joy and with happiness and with purpose. Bless them to get out of this place. Bless them to, like, have the things that they need from you. Bless them to know that you are there and that you care about them and that you still have plans for their lives, that it's not over until you say it's over. So that it's hard. Again, another tenet of Christianity that that challenges you to grow up. But you pray for people. You pray that that they can get through this difficult situation, because they may not always have been this way and they may not always be that way. And if they continue to let the devil use them, then that's on them. You just have to do your due diligence and do what the Lord instructs you to do. So pray for your enemies. Oh, one last point. You do not have to become friends with these people. Pray for them and let it go. And depending on their behaviors, sometimes their behavior has gone so far that you can't go back, or you will never ever trust them. And if God ain't calling you to some type of friendship with them, which He ain't calling me to a friendship with C or D, trust. I ain't never felt that call. But if you're just simply called to pray for somebody, then pray for somebody. And yeah, it is what it is. So that's all I want to say. Goodbye. God bless you. May the Lord. Okay, I wasn't going anywhere with that.